so we can go over some of the basic stuff. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So this is my view. You have your student view is a little bit different, it has less things, but it's more or less the same thing. I wanted to share my view because I have more information. So you have here my welcome that you already saw. And then here, the course is called Business Correspondence, but it includes much more than correspondence. It includes, in general, business communications. So going over I separated the content in chunks. So I have modules, but within the modules, I have units. So the first module is general information about how communication works. Basically, how we humans communicate. So this is how the first unit that you saw is how our minds process information. It's a complex machine that receives information, receives input, processes, and then creates output in very different ways. So it's important for us to understand how we perceive information so we can understand when you read something, all the different things that are behind that, you know, the intention of a person who wrote, but also the biases of a person who wrote, and also your own biases. We all have biases. So unit 1 is how do the minds process information. Then in unit 2, we'll see the impact of that mind processing in communications. So it'll help you better understand if you read something where the bias is, or how to evaluate if whatever you read has a tendency. When you're watching the news, if it's a channel is to the right or to the left, how to identify those kind of things. It goes into that kind of information. Then in unit 3, we'll see effective communication guidelines in general. So how to identify your audience and how to relate to your audience, how to identify your primary audience, but also secondary audience. For instance, you write an email and you know that you write the email to a person, but that person can do a forward. So you have a secondary audience that you might not be interested, that person, in reading your email. And that's why it's kind of tricky when you write an email and you put a blind copy, because then the person that receives the email replies all, and then you know, everybody realizes that you sent a blind copy to a person, which is something it's not very well seen. Those kind of things. How to be aware of the tone that you're using. The tone in written communications is very important because you don't see the person, you don't see the hands, you can't see the tone. So it's important to use the right words in order to, you know, tackle the tone. How to be clear, direct, how to be clear and direct and to the point. We're going to see some grammar as well, because it's important that things are well written. Then we will move to corporate communications. We'll talk about the channels in corporate communications, how they're used, how to select the channel, when to have a news conference and when to have a press release, when to send something by social media, and when to have a presentation. You need to select channels, different channels, in order to convey different things and also to address your communication to different audiences. So depending on what you want to do, you select the channel. We will see all the corporate communication channels and how they are used. It's one-to-many. When it's you're talking to several employees, for instance, or it's one-to-one if you're going to use an email, or if it's going to be a face-to-face. And when is the best channel, which is the best channel for whatever you need to convey. Is there any questions this far? Do you have any question on anything that I've said? No? Okay. Then We have the spring break. It's April 3 to 9. And then coming back from the spring break, we start with module 2. And that's when we go deeper into different kinds of communications, how to write them. So module 1 is more general information to give you context. So you don't come into specific things like how to write a good email if you don't have the context of how corporate communication works. Otherwise, we'll be giving you information in a vacuum, and that's not good. So we will go into detail into how to write emails, the etiquette of writing emails, memos, internal newsletters, internal social media, and blogs, internal blogs. Unit 6 goes also into internal communications. There's internal and external. Internal is for your internal audiences, your employees, something the board of directors, and external is, general public or the government, those kind of things. So we'll see how to make a good presentation, how to create impact with a presentation, how to write a video script, because you might be needing to create video scripts for any kind of visual, how to, the feedback channels in a corporation, how to create good surveys, and texting as well. Then in Unit 7, we will go to the external business communications. We will see how to write a press release, when to write a press release, speeches, white papers, business reports, which is different, how to create an external presentation, how to address social media that for you, Hoya, will be important, blogs, and business proposals. So in your case, for instance, it's going to be important to see the social media, the blogs, and the business proposals, even the white papers, depending on what kind of business you have. Then module 3, we go more into detail into how corporations communicate. We will go into the challenges of multicultural communications, for instance. And here, in general, I will use examples of real life. And when possible, I will share examples from my own experience. For instance, when I worked in Cisco Systems, we were 65,000 employees globally. So when you were in a meeting, you were sitting with people from 5, 6, 10 different nationalities, countries, time zones. So it gets complicated, but it's a super interesting world. And I would like to share with you some of the input. Then in Unit 9, how corporations are leveraging technology recently, and more so after the pandemic. Many corporations had to move to online methods of communications. So phones became super important. Of course, everybody turned to Zoom, but they have kept the same online systems of communication. So it's important to check it out. They're even using very, very high-end technology. Then in Unit 10, we will talk about interpersonal communications in the workplace. This is a little bit out of the writing realm, but it's also very important that you cover this. And the last module is now getting ready you for the corporate world. And we will go over how to write good resumes, how to write a cover letter, how to write different cover letters according to the audience. You could be, and even different resumes. You could be searching for different kinds of jobs, and you need to tweak your resume and your cover letter to the specific area you're trying to get into. The impact of your social media profile when you go in and try to find a job. The first thing that companies look is your social media profile. So you need to be aware of that before you apply to any job. Go over your social media profile and make sure that everything is in order. Everything that you don't want to share, that it's not there. So this is the general overview of the course. Is there any questions? Are there any questions? No? Carl, you're good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so just for you to see how the unit 0 is your orientation, and with all the information that you need about the class and about how to navigate Canvas. guidelines for how to participate in discussions, grading, the resources that you have in campus, different things. And I wanted to go to Unit 1. All the units are organized like this. I have an overview, and the overview has the learning outcomes, what you will do in the unit, and it has a summary of what you will see in this unit. All the units are organized in the same thing. And then, of course, when you click next, you go to the next one. But since you already know how to navigate Canvas, I don't need to go over this in detail, right? Okay, so do you have any questions? No questions? We're good? Okay, you know when to contact me, where to contact me. You have my email, my phone number, the office hours, everything? Okay. So no questions, no coming, no nothing. We're good? Yes, Bianca.
Just to clarify, we don't have like a separate class book. I'm assuming all of the information is on Canvas through the modules and through the different units.
Yes, there's no textbook. I thought it was better for you not to spend money in a textbook, and I created the content myself. Either it's created by me or I am citing different sources, and the source is always at the bottom of a page. So you don't need to go to a textbook, but please make sure that you read everything, because it's summarized, so it's not long, but it's important that you go over everything that it's in the units. No, there's no textbook. It's an open source course. Okay. Well, then, if you don't have any more questions, we'll adjourn. Okay. So I'm here to help you, to support you in all the way. If there's something additional that you want me to contemplate, to include, like this, that you mentioned, Hoya, you want to focus on small business, please do so. I will enrich the course and add whatever you need in order to make this course useful for you. That's the important part of it, so that you really, take advantage of whatever my information, knowledge, or whatever experience is, and you grow with it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so welcome to the course, and I look forward to continue seeing you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too.